Good afternoon, expats. It's your commish here for another episode of Commish's Corner, where I go over the recaps of the scores and games of the previous week and give a preview of this week's upcoming games. Without further ado, our first matchup was the closest, with the Huskies losing to the South Park Cows by a score of 157-153. And it was the closest because legitimately, right before the mid-afternoon games, it was a tie score of 143-143. And out of nowhere, with three men on him, Brock Purdy throws a prayer into the end zone, caught by none other than Kittle, giving Colin the lead. And, Brock Purdy does his signature little chest bump, cheer. And, then he literally says into the camera, he's like, "Hi, Ron." And I was like, this POS, talking smack in collusion with Colin. Later on, he was actually saying, "Hi, Mom." But at the time, I didn't care. That was absolutely disrespectful. I officially hate Brock Purdy now. All right? What a POS. And then, Monday night, it was a dude who I apparently can't say his name, because I was like, Darnell. And it's Donald, or it's DeAndre. I don't know, some guy who hasn't been relevant to fantasy football in 6 years, versus Tyreek Hill. And I mean, thanks, Tyreek. Thank you. As you guys can see, this is from Tyreek, actually. My second participation medal, courtesy of Tyreek Hill, because he was god awful. What sort of number one draft pick can't score more than 6 points week after week? I think he is literally not even top 50 for wide receivers. But whatever, regardless, moving on. Smackers, of course, beat Chris's team. Chris, your team's terrible. Your best player was literally given to you by me. All right? So you're welcome. Maybe you can win this week. I doubt it, but maybe you can. Help me out, And Brees Lightning beat Off to Your Mom by a score of a lot to a little. Jack, you couldn't even muster 100 points. Come on, try harder. Though I will say it wasn't entirely his fault. Rashid Rice got absolutely demolished by Patrick Mahomes. I don't know what the hell Mahomes was thinking, trying to make everybody not just witness that interception he threw and lost by taking out his own player for probably the rest of the season. Legitimately, that action is probably more painful than whatever the judicial system is going to dole out next year when he goes back to court. And then, I don't know if this is just beginners, beginner screw up. But Jack, if there's an O next to the player, that means they are out. They are not playing. You have to switch them with somebody on your bench in order to score some points. Okay? So after that, we had the final match, which was, battle of the two terrible names of the league, the Rockstar Mosquitoes and iBarrett's 94. And I got to give Corky some credit. He really did try, which is all we can ever ask of Corky, trying. Because the final score, I believe, was 177-158. And, he was, San Francisco 49ers defense puts up 34 points, and there's just not much you can do to come back from that. And then Derek Carr, who was on an absolute hot streak after, gets picked up by Corky, and then can't seem to muster double-digit points. So it is what it is. Going into week 5, we've got the beginning of our first couple of byes. So the Detroit Lions are on bye, which is perfect for my matchup with Ian, because he won't be playing David Montgomery against me. And unfortunately for him, I believe, don't quote me, but I believe that Jonathan Taylor may also be out with a high ankle sprain. So, I picked up his backup, no problem. Might throw him in there, but possibly not. I do want to say that I did leave 30 points on my bench against Colin. Kenneth Walker had a game and a half versus the Lions, but I wanted to be petty and start Cam Akers instead, as an FU to Colin. And he gave me that FU right back in Young Hoku scoring 22 points. So that was probably Colin's MVP, was the kicker, because without him, I win that match 9 times out of 10. So yeah, going forward, like I said, it's going to be me versus Ibarrett. I'm hoping to give Ian his first loss, but I got to stay prepared, because that's why I'm out here. That's why I'm out here with my vest, because co-owner Antonio, part of the cartel. I'm not saying that. I just think it's, suspicious that Ian had to accept him as a co-owner, and anytime the monetary funds or gains, losses are brought up, Ian makes it very clear that he's not there to discuss it with us, which leads me to believe that he could be, either blackmailed or being held at ransom in order to allow Antonio to play the league. So I'm taking extra precautions, and anyone playing the Ibarretts going forward should be taking precautions as well. But again, that could totally be rumor. I'm not sure. You didn't hear it from me. And I love Mexico, so just FYI. Anyways, going after that, we have Jack versus Johnny. I'm pulling for Jack just because Johnny's team isn't as good as that 4-0 leads you to believe. Corky will get a chance at redemption to beat another bad team. If Corky loses to Colin, his season could be over, which would suck because then I would have lost to the 2 worst teams in this league, which is embarrassing to say. And then, of course, it will be, Frankie versus Chris. Like I said, Chris's team is dealing with some injuries. Frankie should have no trouble winning that one. Some notable pickups from the past week. I can't recall any. I'm not going to lie. So, gents, enjoy Thursday night football. Let's see how this week's games pans out. Take care.